Hi, I'm Eric Dahl. For Vintage Guitars, I'm talking with three incredible musicians based here in Nashville, Tennessee. Yes, these three incredible musicians. We've got Philip, Ryan, and Jeremy. And, it's great having you guys here to talk with about your vintage guitars. And we were talking before we started the interview, even what amazing careers all three of you have had. Um, you know,
Thanks.
with touring with, Gene Simmons and Ace Frehley and all these great things that I can't mention all the different country artists, but I kind of like to dig in. We're talking about vintage guitars, during this NAMM show week, and you guys have the pro shop models because touring in the studio, playing lots of music. I'd kind of like to dig into, Philip, if you could tell us how you first became associated.
Anyway, so I found vintage guitars at British Audio, a great store that we love, great people over there here in Nashville. And I saw a guitar that looked like this, except it was black and with a white pick guard, kind of Richie Blackmore looking. I picked it up on the wall. I started playing it. I was kind of amazed at how well it played. I kind of winced at the price tag. It's like $400. I couldn't believe how inexpensive it was. And I was like, well, the pickups have to suck, right? So I plugged it in, blew my similar guitar that I already owned away in every possible way, and traded, like that day, went home and got mine, traded it for this one, for one like it, for the one I have. And then Shane introduced me to Rick Taylor, who is the US rep. It's a UK company. So Rick was in Texas, and he said, I'll put you in touch with Rick. So I started talking to Rick, and I was going back and forth, like, I can't believe this guitar. And he said, well, we also make other ones too. And then so he, sent me one, kind of like, we'll talk about this one in a second.
Right.
So I got one from him, and I was blown away with that one as well. And they kind of they became my main go-to guitars, definitely touring. I mean, I pretty much left everything else at home after that.
Well, and that's a huge statement too, Philip, because the three of you could essentially play whatever guitars you want. And when you're touring with such high profile artists as you all have been, people want you to play their guitars, so they see them on the stages, the world tours, and everything. And so for you to go into British Audio and play the guitars, catching up with Shane, who a buddy of mine as well here in Nashville, and playing that guitar, but I got to bring this up too. I mean, you guys were some of the first ones to work with the pro shop.
Yeah, Kevin's great. So my first one from Kevin is this one. The three pickup. Mine was the first three pickup they made. I was playing Wacken, the German festival in 17 with Accept. And so they made this one for me for that show. And then it became my main go-to guitar for 2 years. I think I played this one on tour.
Pretty cool story about that too. I was with Philip, and as a lot of people know, maybe some don't, there are two NAMM shows every year. There's the original one, the winter show in Anaheim, California, and now there's Summer NAMM here in Nashville that's been happening for quite a while. And it was pretty cool to walk the floor with Philip when this first came out, and there's pictures in my phone somewhere. There was a tag hanging from that guitar at the NAMM show that had the Philip Shouse model. So that was just cool moment. Really, really cool moment.
And I think I saw that also because, obviously I always hit that booth.
Yeah, right. It's like special wiring.
Yeah, I've got a special wiring job in mind that me and Kevin kind of came up with. They all don't have, I don't know if there's a standard or whatever for three pickups.
Mine's different.
Yeah, so mine's kind of a unique thing, but it plays great as all of these around us do. It's really good stuff.
Well, and that's such a testament too, because when I first became introduced to vintage years ago, talking with the UK team, it's like I was the same way. They're like going, "Hey, come here, try these out." I was at the Winter NAMM show, and I was wowed, when they put these in, because I've got some other brands as well, being kind of a guitar junkie myself, and it's like, and I started playing these, I'm like going, what the heck? And then when Shane got them here at British Audio, and obviously working with Rick Taylor as well, it's just, there's a lot of wow factor. Now, I want to talk with each of you, with Ryan and Jeremy, about your specific models also, because each of you have custom paint jobs, custom pickups, the sanded back of your neck. You know, I mean, let's talk about these also.
Awesome. Go ahead, Jer.
Well, actually, the first one that I got was this one, and there's not really a lot special about it. You know, it's got the glass neck that Kevin Easton does, Shakarama, and other than that, man, it's really kind of I believe they do gold hardware, and I had them do chrome hardware because I'm not a big fan of gold. And man, I toured with only this guitar for about a year and a half.
Yeah,
That thing is so pretty. I mean, that white really pops, particularly on stage when the lights hit it, right?
And I did have them do a 3 pickup just because, you know, I kind of wanted to leave that one at home because
because 3 pickups are 1 louder.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
and look, it looks so cool.
It's just good math.
Yeah.
But when you're recording at home and stuff, that's pretty much my go-to. I don't go to my my name brand. I don't go to my 3 pickup. Like the first one they sent me is still pretty much my number one.
That is incredible. Well, I'll tell you what, Ryan, let's talk about your setup too, because I know you've got some incredible.
You know, I heard about Philip and Jer, Phil and Jer person. You know, my first couple guitars from Rick and Kevin were not custom shop. They were the V100s. One was a Sunburst, and then I got another one that's kind of a lemon drop, that AFD model they have. And the only thing that I did with those, they came literally, Kevin set them up for me, sent them to me, but it wasn't an Icon, you know, custom shop or anything like that. I dropped Seymour Duncan, Jeff Beck, JB pickups in the bridge of both of those. So besides the strap locks and the bridge pickup, there was nothing custom about those. That's just a testament to the company of, you know, I did have a bit of an advantage because those guys have been so nice to me to where, you know, I know they probably went through 5 to 10 of each of the guitars they sent me to pick out the one they thought rang the best and everything, which I appreciate very much. And it was really nice to pull them right out of the box and be able to have it be ready besides dropping the pickup. Jerry, if you hand me that one. Now the one, finally, when I was able to get down to it and want to do a custom thing. Oh, you see this? And
I love that finish.
Yeah, this is a V100 with a stud job on it. And there is a story behind it.
That was my nickname in college.
That's right. That's right. You can see all these studs on here, and those are real. Unfinished neck.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of something we all do. We all like the unfinished neck.
This is really a kill switch. This one knob. There are no tone. It's a volume knob. It's either on or it's off. And the reason I did this stud job is we toured with Gene for a couple of years. And Gene has a bass called the Punisher, and he has different models. And the one that he gravitated to that we took around the world everywhere had this exact stud job on it, right? This flat black, one knob, that's it. I go, so there's a guy named Jim Cara that does all those guitars for Gene, that does the work. I was lucky enough to be able to call up Jim, ask him if he would do this for me. So Rick and Kevin took a V100 that was a shiny gloss black like Phillips here.
Right.
Sent it to Jim. Jim dirtied it up, flattened the black, sanded the neck, did a custom stud job for me. You can see the name Cara right here along with the vintage logo. This is the only one of these in the world that exists like this. And he was even nice enough to put my initials on the pickup covers that says RC. You can't see.
RC Cola.
So since Gene,
wow.
and Gene calls his the Punisher, so this is the Enforcer. So the one thing was, well, I could never would even attempt to sharing the stage with Gene with this because it just, you can't. I'm not gonna. So I waited to go on tour with
I don't want up the boss.
That's right. And I wanted to. So I waited until we went on tour with Ace, and that's when this guitar made its debut because it's an homage to Gene and Ace because it's the artwork on it is to Gene, the body shape is to Ace, and it's just a monster. Like I said, just this whole, it's got a very Mad Max vibe, and it's just
you know, and I mean, you really hot rodded that one out, Ryan. I mean, that's what's so cool is that, like I said, with the kill switch, with the volume only, you're not holding back any of the tonality coming from the pickups. It's just going straight into the jack and straight into your amplifier.
And this is just empty. And this again is a Seymour Duncan JB in the bridge.
Wow.
So there you go.
So I've got a
Good.
perfect segue into homages because that's exactly what this guitar is. This is my homage to Ace. It's silver and black. It's
Ooh.
even called Spaceman Silver. Kevin Easton, thank you very much. So a good friend of mine gave me these knobs in this truss rod cover, and a friend of his that used to work for and gave them to him, and they are prototypes for an Ace Frehley Les Paul that they never did. And if you look real close, you can see the lightning bolt.
Oh, wow.
Kind of in the knobs here too. You gotta hit it right.
Wow.
This is
And I love that finish.
I've never had a guitar with a P90, so I thought it was time. Yeah, I've never had any of this stuff. So,
and I just got to say, the paint job on this and stuff, the lights are not doing this justice, man.
Right. But stage lights will.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
So with Ace, I'm the bass player. So I had Kevin do this one for me.
Oh, look at that.
He relicked it. That's not flying over the pavement. He relicked it for me. This is the best bass I've ever played in my life. No exaggeration. It's got J bass and P bass pickups. I did a thing where I made a master volume down here. So it's volume, volume, because who needs a tone on a bass? So I did that. My guitar tech Rocco absolutely hates these things, but I love them, so they're staying on.
Yeah.
And this bass, it's no lie, is just the greatest thing to play. And it's blue, so I picked blue for Ace, but
Yeah.
I love this thing so much. It's really one of my favorite things I have.
Well, and I was going to bring this up too, and obviously all three of you having owned plenty of guitars over the years and being endorsed and working with vintage guitars now, I'd like you to talk a little bit about what it's like, with the innovations that Trev Wilkinson has brought to vintage guitars and how you guys sort of feel that is taking things up a notch with the instruments.
Well, I haven't replaced his pickups with other brands,
Yeah.
so
This is his PAF model, and his PAF model pickup is my favorite pickup.
that's what I have in
They're
all of my
I don't really go for except when I play it with Accept. Those are active, but everything else is passive pickup, and I like low output. I prefer that. These are great. I love them.
Well, and I think that's one of the things too that I was surprised about, certainly with vintage guitars when I first started playing them and checking them out at the NAMM shows, like we were talking about, is the machine heads, the bridges, everything. You can fine tune them. There's no slippage. I mean, they're just really set up well. And I know that Rick Taylor's team here in the U.S., particularly, once they get them in, they go over them, and it doesn't have to be pro shop like what you guys are playing, since you're doing world tours, but just for average people, it's like they really go through them and set them up nicely. And with that hardware that Trev came up with, you can do it now.
And I use I'm a volume knob rider guy. I'm always, and the way that the pickups interact with the volume knobs on this and the tone knobs even on the guitar, you can completely go from scream to clean with those. So that it really they're paired together very well.
And it's not even all the pro shop. Like two of the ones he has, he got off the wall.
I have two or three off the rack at British Audio, and one of them is a gold top V100 that is my go-to now. But
well, now, Philip, you also play one of the 12 strings, right?
Oh, that's great.
Yep. Well, they did this to me right at the beginning of the pandemic, and this is just it's an awesome guitar. I love this so much. So I hear that they've made a 3/4 scale one of these. So Rick Taylor, if you're listening, I'd love to. I love smaller scale acoustic guitars. I just have this fascination with them. So I'd sure love to get my hands on one of those. But no, this guitar is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's super loud. It resonates huge, and it's really fantastic.
Now,
you guys, I got to ask you this question too, Ryan and Jeremy. You guys are also using these same instruments in the rock and roll residency, also, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And the good thing with that is the set list was all over the place, with 70s rock pretty much from Gary Wright to Iron Maiden. So you've got you know, V100, you've got a single coil, you've got a V52, you know, you've got all these guitars that were all vintage, you know, so whatever you played, you could grab the appropriate guitar.
This is the perfect example. That's a good segue.
That's a good one.
Okay. So what he just mentioned about going to your boat and grabbing the single coil, the humbucker, the whatever. This style of body is something that you never see me on stage with. I got this at the beginning of the pandemic. And Rick knows what I like because I'm a humbucker guy, but I always wanted this style, just if anything, to start out with, to sit around the house playing. And then it ended up, I started using it when we started doing these streaming shows. But talk about not having to switch guitars on that kind of set. And these are all Wilkinsons. I didn't change anything out. Wow. This is from the Pro Shop. Kevin, you know, it's completely relic, just like Phil's bass was. But these pickups, you can go from humbucker. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
It's got a coil tap. You can go straight from the humbucker sound into the single coil, same guitar. It's great. It's got your 5 selector, just like all these style guitars do. There is a whammy bar on this. I just don't have it in. And by the way, let me tell you something. I'm not a whammy guy. The few times I have been using it now, just when I'm sitting around playing clean stuff, it's a lot of fun, man. This stays in tune great, because the part of the reason that I'm not a whammy guy is I play more rhythm than anything. But you know, the whammies I've experienced in the past that come stock, if it's not a Kaler or a Floyd, the minute you whack it, the guitar's out of tune. Not the case with this. This is such a good toolbox guitar to have because you don't have to switch out. You can do a lot with this one.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, such an incredible model. I was going to bring up Jeremy. It's like, when you guys have come off stage, you know, each of you individually, have you had fans and other people come up and go, hey, what guitar are you using? What is that?
All the time. In fact, we kind of have jobs with vintage.
We're like unofficial reps, I guess, at this point.
I promise you, this is like, the numbers aren't huge that I know of, but I definitely know that I can tell you a few people. I can't say their names just because I wouldn't know if I can chill, but there are a few people that we are responsible that have literally gone and ordered these guitars because they saw us playing them, or maybe it was somebody that I knew in a different state and let them play it pre-show to sound. But that's literally been, you know, we've sold some of these because of that. That's great.
But it's cool though when if a kid comes up and it's like, wow, what were you playing? I couldn't tell. It looks like something else. I'm like, what's this? And you can tell the kid about it, and he can go buy the same model that you're playing for like $500. He's not gonna, you know, you have to go mortgage your house to get a guitar.
You have to ask yourself, are you collecting guitars or playing guitars?
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, you know, you guys are doing world tours with these, and so, you know, you can play and use whatever you want, and you've chosen to go with the vintage guitar models. And also, I think it's incredible with the Pro Shop now, to where, you know, when you're playing with a particular artist, like we're talking about with Ace Frehley or with Gene Simmons, you can dial in the instrument to match that. And that was really, you know, at this level of instruments, kind of unheard of.
Yeah, it is.
Well, especially the thing, again, that makes it great, as far as you said, being able to dial something in. The Gene and Ace gig, you know, it's safe to say, everybody knows that, even knows about, that's a humbucker gig, right? It really is. And, you know, everything we do are pretty much fly dates everywhere. And for people who don't know what that is, it's different than the typical tour bus scenario where you get on a bus and you don't come home for 3 months and then take a break. You're literally flying out every week, which means you're going to pare down what you carry on the road with you. Right. And, you know, traveling lean is something you learn, and it's something that you really appreciate. And being able to travel with one guitar, you know, we always have a backup on our production rider there, but people travel with one guitar and knowing that you have everything you need in that one guitar case. It's, you know, it's really good to be able to have something like that you can depend on.
And if some, you know, traveling so much and, you know, moving around so frequently does, you know, things can go wrong and break. And if it does break, I mean, you don't want it to break, but if it does, it's not going to be like, you know, my $5,000, my 58 Paul that I'm dumb to bring on the road with me. You know, it's not, you're not going to have that thing. It's like, okay, well, damn it. Exactly.
Well, I just want to mention, that's something that people should use as food for thought. What Phil just said is a really good point. When he introduced me to to vintage, to the V100s, and I played a couple of his and loved them. The reason I was looking to get another guitar was because I have a really, really valuable guitar that I've been really lucky to tour with around the world for years. And insurance couldn't cover the sentimental and emotional value that guitar has, which is the reason that I've decided not to take it anywhere anymore. So I was looking to get something to replace it. And it was just perfect timing that this worked out, that I found these guys. And, you know, it was really a blessing.
Well, you know, and you guys have done so much for vintage also to heighten the profile of the instruments on world stages. And it's so funny to listen to you guys, Ryan, you and Jeremy and Phil going, oh yeah, Gene. It's like, no, it's Gene Simmons with Kiss. It's Ace Frehley from Kiss, except, okay, kind of a well-known band.
And me and him have to stand next to Ace and his Les Paul with vintage guitars. What's that?
Yeah.
Ace played this one at a show, actually.
That's right. Everything that we've done for vintage by playing these guitars, maybe that's true and that's great, but it'll never equal what they've done for us, because before this interview started, we're sitting here surrounded by 9 guitars, which doesn't even dent what we've gotten from the company. So, you know, it's pretty, in my eyes, the scale's right here.
Yeah.
If we can help, it's great, but what they've done for us has been just awesome.
I gotta go. I'm flying to Texas next week. I'm mowing Rick's lawn for him, so do something nice for the guy.
What has it been like with working with Rick and his team on vintage guitars?
Easiest thing ever.
Yeah.
I've got both their numbers with Kevin and Rick, and anything I might need or anything they need from us.
This is like the perfect example of that. Yeah. Hey guys, I would like a junior style guitar. I would like it to be silver. I want a kill switch, 2 knobs, and
it's all via text.
Yeah, they never done a 3 pickup before, and it was like, can you do one? Like, well, check with Kevin. And I was like, can you do this? He's like, sure we can. So then we started working it out, and the one he had to, route it totally differently and kind of build it that way.
I got to ask you this question then, as guitar players, bass players, professional musicians, are there any instruments besides a smaller scale 12 string that are on your wish list from vintage? Because I know also you guys have like played the Thomas Blue model and kind of customized one of those. What else do you have on the wish list to maybe get, to work with on vintage or for the pro shop?
I don't have a V52, and I talked to Rick about getting one of those, and they were coming up with a newer model with binding, and he was like, no, to this one, and then everything hit the fan. But that's on my list, and the short scale are mine.
I'm gonna say a 12-string acoustic.
Yeah. Okay, Jeremy.
This is so great.
I would like the 12-string acoustic also. I need a bass because I record at home, and I play a little bass too. And actually, one of the hollow bodies, Phil's got a hollow body. I played that. I like that a lot.
That's a nice tune.
I got to tell you guys though, I like
one of the what's it called, the SG style, the VS6. I'd like one of those without the Bigsby style. I've got the Bigsby style.
Hey, guess what?
But I'd like one with a heart, with a
here's one
bridge
without the trapeze.
Yeah.
Right.
And this is straight from Kevin, and you can still see like, we'll make a new body and do the whole deal, and we'll make sure that there's without the trapeze and the standard tailpiece and bridge. I'm like, no, whatever. So you can see the holes where the trapeze was. I go, just take it off and put these on for me and send it. Man, this one's
real picky.
This one's so great. Nothing was changed besides that they did. These are the stock pickups. The neck is it's a little, it's fatter than a Les Paul neck, but I absolutely love it. It's super light and it's real chimey.
My white one, I have a VS6 too, and
there was one day I spent 45 minutes at his house, being the name brand model and the vintage model. Seriously, back and forth about 45 minutes and the vintage one.
We have a great idea for that model too. Each of us I've got the blue one. We have a red, white, and blue one. Man, that's a 4th of July Independence Day vintage ad if I've ever seen one.
You can't go wrong with that. But I want to ask the three of you then, talking about vintage guitars, if you were speaking, to to music stores and everything that are thinking about carrying them, or also to people that are looking to pick up a new instrument, a new guitar, new bass, new 12 string. What would you guys tell those people?
I would say, first of all, if they take the chance on bringing some into their inventory, I think that they're going to see an increase of sales on the floor, because it's a really good, affordable model that feels like something that costs a lot more money, but also they can sell it knowing that they're selling a solid instrument that stays in tune, that has good action, that has good electronics, that had good machine heads on it, the whole deal. You're selling a quality product, because a lot of times, you really do get what you pay for. And that's an unfortunate situation sometimes, because what people have to pay, sometimes they can't get something. And this way you're giving something of a quality product to where, they'll feel good selling it to a beginner or an advanced player. And I think would see an increase in sales, because word of mouth about something good does spread quickly.
And
I totally agree. What do you think, Philip?
They're classic shapes, it's like, I don't really care for like new shaped guitars, nothing. I mean, it's just, I like the established classic ones, and they look like that. So to me, playing that guitar, it's, it wasn't that much of a stretch for me to get used to it and get comfortable with it.
Yeah, and if you can
Jeremy, what about you?
if you take a guy like this who's playing a name brand model and goes to the store and picks the vintage floor model off and does a straight swap, I mean, that says a lot. He shows up, and that was a bit of an eye opener, and I played it.
Yeah.
And,
I could have bought 4 of the vintage V6s for what that one guitar.
So there's not like a lack of quality that comes along with this lower price.
Well, and also, Jeremy, on it, the things that you guys are asking for, even from the pro shop, are not ridiculous. I mean, just like with the satin feel on the neck, so you don't have a gumminess, changing out a paint, maybe a stop tailpiece, things like that. I mean, for them to be able to do that with this level of instrument, and you guys take them on tour, on world tours, and you're standing next to Ace Frehley or Gene Simmons. Wow. Well, and it's always fun too, anytime that you can share an instrument with somebody and go, no, you got to check this out, because I mean, we're all guitar nerds. And so when anybody comes to my house, I always have to make them play the newest one I have in for review. I'm going, come here, let's plug it in. And I mean, that's always a rush when you find great instruments like these and you can share them. It's like that bass. After seeing your bass, Philip, I want to play it now.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm sitting right here. No, I get it. I get it.
I'll be over in a little bit.
Yeah.
I think I want to come to your house.
Yeah.
Come on. But I mean, it's so incredible that what you guys, with the music you're making, playing on major albums, playing on major tours, and then, working with vintage guitars, and people are seeing it's like, yeah, we're pros. We can play what we want, and we're playing vintage.
And by the way, that is a true statement. On Ace's new record that just came out, Orange was Volume 2 that we're on, vintage instruments are on there.
Oh yeah, that white Les Paul that I held up is.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, Jeremy, that is a beauty too. That's one of those to where, when you're playing that, I mean, it's like, and to me, guitars are always like playable artwork.
Yeah.
Well, Philip, Ryan, and Jeremy, on behalf of Vintage Guitars, I just want to thank you for taking the time to join us, sharing some of your incredible instruments, your guitars, your basses, 12 strings, and man, it's just great talking with you guys. I can't wait to see you out on the road again and playing live. And thanks for being out there with Vintage Guitars.
Thank you.
We can't wait either.
Thank you, Vintage. Thanks, everybody. This has been great.